Life is short. Life is too short for anyone to be forcing anything. And it's up to you to make your own decision as to what you want to do with your life. But as for me, I'm done forcing.
You should have knew that I was coming. Y'all should have knew that I was coming with a story time. Y'all should have knew that I was getting ready to dump something on y'all. Y'all should know me by now. If I didn't do it Friday, Saturday, y'all know y'all was getting ready to get it on Sunday. So today, I still want to stay focused on what I was talking about, and what I was talking about was my dad. And when I was talking about my dad, people felt some type of way, whether good or bad. I was telling the truth, but it was about my dad. But nevertheless, hi, my name is Monica, and welcome back to my channel. Like, comment, and subscribe. And today, I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't have to force no relationship when it comes to relationships, when it comes to relationships with your kids, your friends, your parents, none of that. Don't force it. Because at the end of the day, if they want it to happen, it will happen on its own. But if it don't, it won't. This is a conversation between a daughter and her father right before. It was during a time where he was hurt. Now, keep in mind, my dad had already left. My dad was gone. Me and Monique decided my dad was coming down here because his older sister had passed. And he had called Monique and told her, well, when I come down there, I want to talk to you and Monica about, the situation between me and your mother, the real situation between me and your mother. Since y'all older, we want to talk. I'm going to sit y'all down and we're going to talk. Now, keep in mind, Monique was like a peacemaker. Even though she had her days where she was being like really ratchet, you know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, Monique was a peacemaker when it came to family. Family to her was everything. But because my dad had asked Monique to inform me that this conversation was going to take place, I was preparing myself mentally and physically for this conversation with my dad, because I didn't know him. He stayed out of town. He stayed away from us. He didn't raise us. So therefore, I was telling Monique, like, why do he want to talk to me? He shouldn't want to talk to me. This man didn't know my birthday. The man didn't know that I graduated. Me and Monique went kind of back and forth about it. She was like, Monica, you got to learn how to let stuff go. I couldn't let it go. Where was he at? What? Okay, he called every now and again and talked to Monique. He had 3 other kids. He didn't talk to us like that, but he talked to Monique all the time. He talked to her at least out of a month. He talked to her 4 times. At least. Right before everybody got sick, he talked to Monique. He didn't talk to me. By me being the second to the oldest, I feel like he should have at least reached out to me. Martin and Clyde was too young to know exactly who he was or what he was or how he was. They didn't know that, because when he left, they were little. But me and Monique was not. This is a man that I knew all my life. This is a man that taught me how to ride a bike, how to skate, how to, build stuff. My dad taught me how to weld stuff together, how to splice stuff and weld it together. This is the things that my dad taught me before he left. But he chose to leave. So therefore, I'm thinking to myself, like, what? Me and him don't got no conversation for nothing alike. So why are we talking? Why are we having this conversation? Why are we doing this? How did we get here? Is why I told Monique, how did we get here? She like, Monica, nevertheless, he wants to pull us to the set after the funeral. Okay. He come down here. Now, you would think that if he wanted to have a conversation with us, that he would have at least stopped and, when he came to town, came and seen us first. He didn't. He got to town and he went and seen his family. He seen all his family. He didn't see us till the day after the funeral. Yeah, the day after the funeral is when he actually seen us. And he didn't even see the other 2. He seen me and Monique. He didn't see Margaret and Clyde. Margaret and Clyde was at the funeral, but Margaret and Clyde was so nonchalant about it, they left. But at the end of the day, me and Monique still there, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, I didn't understand what this conversation was going to be. But he really hit it bad with me when I found out he came in on a Monday. The funeral, we didn't see him. Okay, after the funeral. The day before he left, he called me and Monique up to his sister's house to talk to us. So when we came in, we said hi to everybody, or whatever the case may be. He pulled us outside. Now, keep in mind, Monique had been telling me and coaching me that whole day, like, Monica, do not say anything. Let him talk so we can get all this out. So the animosity and that feeling between us all will stop. I'm like, okay, Monique, I'm going to give him a chance. I'm going to see what he got to say. So we walked from my aunt's house down to where his car was parked. Now, keep in mind, my mother had to catch the bus. We had to catch the bus. Here, he got a nice-ass car. Maybe it was a rental. I don't know. Had a nice-ass car either way. You know what I'm saying? So we walked down to the car with him. When we walked down to the car, he made sure to stand in front of me and Monique. We was leaning on the car. He made sure to stand in front of me and Monique, and this is how the conversation started. He was like, I know that y'all hold some type of animosity towards me about the way that I left and how I was like, well, it was a lot that was going on and this, that, and the third, and it was a lot. And Monique asked him, she was like, well, why did you leave? He told Monique out of his mouth, the reason why he left is because he wanted a life of his own. Never not once did he say he wanted to make a life of his own and help my mother take care of us. It wasn't the fact that he left. It was the fact that he left and he continued his life without us. That was my whole thing. But then when I found out that when he was talking, I just kept looking at him like, are you going to say anything? Are you going to say anything? He was like, when I moved, I didn't have no job and this. I couldn't use the craft that I went to school for, this, that, and the other. And it was a better opportunity in another state. Monique asked him, she was like, but what about us, Dad? But what about us? This man stood in front of her and said, you and Monica was old enough to understand. I did not have a life. They're here with your mother and y'all. He was like, it was her family. It was her. The whole time he just kept professing that this was my mom's fault. This was her family's fault. This was this person's fault. Never not once did he own his own shit. He moved to a whole nother state and started a whole nother family with somebody with an already made family. And he took care of them as a whole, as a unit. He made sure that he was there for her and her kids. But never not once did he say these things. He never said that he was trying to help us. He never said that he wanted to come back and get us. He never said nothing about us. It was about him. It was the whole conversation was about him. And I'm standing looking at him and I asked him, I said, Dad, but when is my birthday? Tell me when is my birthday. This man stood in my face and told me October the 29th. My birthday is October the 16th. I'm looking at him like, hey, this is incredible. Now, keep in mind, as he was talking, his girlfriend came out and she must have heard some of the conversation that was going on between me, Monique, and my dad. She came out to bring him a beer. And when she brought him the beer, she turned to us and she said, well, it was plenty of times that your dad wanted to talk to y'all, but he didn't know how. As a parent, whether or not you mad at whoever, as a parent, you talk to your kids. So she made an excuse for him, the reason why he didn't talk to us. She was like, but he got a lot going on up there. He got this job and this, and the grandkids and this. This man got kids, grandkids here. That is his, that look like him, that walk like him, that's left-handed like him. My mom is right-handed. He left-handed. My son is left-handed like he is. He had no idea. So when he took the beer from his girlfriend and they kind of conversated between each other, because apparently the conversation between him and his daughters, wasn't important enough as the conversation that he was having with her. He kind of directed his attention to what she was saying. And then once he got finished talking to her, then he was like, I don't want y'all to hate me. He was like, I seen the look on your brother's face when he see me. He said he has no respect for me. I mean, I don't get it. I was so confused and fucked up behind what he was saying. All I could think about is I had a father and daughter dance. And I am 6'1". At the time, I had to be like 16, so that made me like 5'9", 5'11". Eric was 5'4" at the most. And he pranced his little ass in there with me, hold my hand to dance with me. At the end of the day, he probably came to my neighbor, but at the end of the day, he stood there with me at a father-daughter dance, and I was not legally his daughter. In his heart, I was his daughter. In my heart, I was his daughter. My dad never, because he didn't give a damn, he didn't know that. He didn't know that I marched. He didn't know that. He didn't know that when I had Curtis by myself, he didn't know that. He didn't know my first heartbreak. He didn't know that. But what he did know was her kids and what they did. What he knew was his life was there. And see, I kind of tried not to blame my aunts and my uncles on my dad's side about how they feel about us and how estranged our relationship is with them. But at the end of the day, you got to think about it. My dad set the tone for them. My dad, it ain't no telling what he told them. It ain't no telling how bad he talked about them. Because how I know my dad had to speak ill of my mother and us to them, because they actually love my cousins them on my dad's side. Because their parents did, whether it was my uncle or my aunts, they never down talked their kids or their wives or their husbands to their family. My dad did. My dad set the tone for that. So to this day, I can remember going over to my granny house, which is my dad's mom's house. And you're supposed to feel a warm welcome. But I didn't feel that. I felt it like it was, oh, okay, hi, how are y'all? And that's how that feeling was. And it's still that to this day. To this day, I see my aunts and my uncles and stuff talk to their nieces and nephews and stuff on my dad's side. And they congratulate them for everything. And every now and again, they'll like a post of ours or they'll get on there and stuff like this. But this is the tone that my dad set for us with them. It's not their fault that they are poisoned against us. It's not. It's not their fault that they think they don't have that they supposed to have for us, because they don't. And I have accepted that. As me being 51, I had to accept that. I had to accept the fact that that's my aunts and uncles. But that's my dad's side of the family. That's my dad's side of the family. That's how I see it. I don't see it. How do I know that they feel like some type of way about us? Is because by accident, my cousin's son got in contact with me. He was like, hey, cuz, you're coming to such a woot for the family reunion and what the what? I'm like, I didn't know nothing about it. He was like, oh. He was like, you ain't been on the family page? Family page? I'm like, what are you talking about? He was like, the King family page. The family page. I said, I'm not in that family page. I said, I didn't know nothing about it. He was like, oh, okay. He left it at that. And I never questioned or asked about it. I asked my aunt about it. She kind of blew it off like, oh, it's just a little something, that, yeah. But I still got their last name. I still look like them. I'm still tall like them. I'm still hippie like them. This is my family. But this is how they are. And you can't blame them for that. You know what I'm saying? To the point that they didn't actually know that my mom and my dad was still married when my dad... Nobody knew. My dad had lied so much that they didn't even know my mom and my dad was still legally married when he passed. They thought that they was divorced all these years. They thought that they was divorced. No. My mother was still his wife when he passed. She still was Mrs. King like that. We had to actually show a decree that they were still married. I mean, isn't that crazy? You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, this is how this is going. And I think I'm not holding... I think that because I've noticed how people move lately, I can't change that. I'm not going to force that. I'm not going to make you change. I'm not. As a grown up, you handle your business a certain way. If you move left, I'm moving right. I move different. I'm moving different. So therefore, I can't get mad about something I can't change. I got an aunt, and I ain't going to say her name, but I got an aunt that blocked me over the fact that she felt some type of way about my mom. I got a whole aunt that don't even speak. Would prefer not to. She's not just friends with me. She's not friends with my sister or my brother. She give a damn. At the end of the day, and they proud of that. They proud of that. That makes them happy. I'm not forcing nothing. You can't force a square into a circle. You can't force it. So yeah, I felt some type of way. I still do. And there's more to this. This is just the tip of the iceberg. This is just the beginning. Because it's a lot of shit that ain't right. I mean, it just ain't. But who am I? I don't know why my dad's been heavy on my mind. I don't know. I don't know why I can't change the way he felt. I don't know. I don't know why I was never his daughter. I don't know. All I know is that my mother named us after her. All her girls got an M name because my mother's name is Mary. And my last name match his. That's it. That's all it is. And I look like him. That's all that is. But I don't know why he didn't just like us. He never liked us. It wasn't that we did something to him. He just didn't like us. I mean, that right there is enough for you to just be like, damn. You know what I'm saying? But people don't think of the long-lasting trauma that they do to their kids. I am traumatically different from everybody else. These things happened. Ain't nothing I can do to change them. He did this. Ain't nothing I can do to change it. He's not here. I can't have this conversation with him. I can't tell him how this hurt my feelings or to know that he talked down to us, about us to other people. He made us out to be the villain, and we was just his kids. That's it. So yeah, it's a lot to this story. It's a lot to this situation, this series. It's a lot, because my dad is the reason why I'm the way I am. My dad, because he wasn't there, even though we had Eric, and Eric was super light, good hair, and all this other extra stuff, didn't look shit like us. But if you asked Eric to the day he died, who was I to him, he would say my daughter. My second to the oldest daughter. It's exactly what he would say. But if you asked my dad, he'd be like, that's Monica. My daughter. It hit different. It hit different. So yeah, this is a lot. So just like I said, I don't know why he's been on my mind. I don't even know. So yeah, I'm going to end this story here. I'm going to end this here because I don't know. It's a lot. So just like I said, don't force a relationship that is not to be. It could be with anybody. I didn't force it with my dad. Once we had that conversation outside, that was just about almost the last conversation I had with my dad before my sister passed. So yeah, it's a lot. So like I said before, like, comment, and subscribe. And I thank y'all for watching. And I'm glad that y'all sharing this stuff and sharing and all this other stuff. But yeah, I use y'all as my therapy. So just like I said before, like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in my next story. Bye.